The story starts with our protagonist. We'll call her Margaret. Margaret wasn't your average landlord. She was a classy, old-school woman, soft-spoken, polite, and always dressed like she just stepped out of a garden party in the Hamptons. Her late husband had left her well off, a stunning estate just outside Manhattan, complete with an indoor pool, a sauna, marble floors, and an elevator. The kind of home most people only see in movies. But after he passed away, the mansion just felt empty. Too many memories in every corner. So when Margaret remarried and moved out of state, she decided to rent it out. A broker brought her 2 tenants, music producers. One was the brains, quiet, organized, always on time. The other was the face, a flashy guy named Ben, the talent. Together, they seemed legitimate. They paid their rent, kept the property in decent shape, and even brought in well-known artists to record. For a while, everything went smoothly. Margaret's trust was well placed until it wasn't. After a few years, something happened. The business partner, the responsible one, suddenly vanished from the picture. Some kind of falling out. And with him gone, Ben was left in charge. At first, the rent still came in, just a little late. Then later. Then barely at all. Margaret, ever the lady, tried to handle things with grace. She'd call, remind him politely. Ben, I understand things happen, but the lease terms haven't changed. But the man who once charmed everyone with his smooth talk turned nasty. He started sending aggressive texts, yelling on the phone, even throwing in racist remarks when she insisted on payment. To someone else, this might have turned into a shouting match. But Margaret? She held her composure. Always calm, always polite, because she knew people like Ben hate that. Still, the disrespect wore her down. The late payments piled up. And then, when the eviction notice finally came through, Margaret walked into her own home and nearly burst into tears. Walls smeared with grime and God knows what. The indoor pool was a murky green soup of mold and ash. Even the plumbing, destroyed. It was over $100,000 in damage. And that wasn't even counting the emotional toll. Seeing the home she'd once shared with her late husband turned into a frat house from hell. But Margaret didn't scream. She didn't curse. She just went to court. Calm, methodical, and relentless. She won. The judge granted her over $100,000 in damages and a lien on all of Ben's assets. But there was a problem. Ben? He was broke. The music dreams had fizzled. His studio partners were gone. His bank accounts were empty. So Margaret sighed, told her lawyer, "You can't squeeze blood from a stone," and quietly moved on. 15 years passed. Margaret's life went on. She spent time with her new husband, traveled, and even laughed again. Then, one ordinary morning, she got a letter in the mail. It was from a bank. The house Ben owned was going into foreclosure. And because she still technically had a lien on his assets, the bank was asking a judge to dismiss her claim so they could take the house. Margaret could have said, "Sure, fine." It was ancient history. But instead she smiled. See, this wasn't about money anymore. This was about closure. She called the bank. And in that same calm, honeyed tone she'd always had, she said, "Listen, I'm still owed quite a bit of money from Mr. Ben. Why don't we make this easy? I'll buy the house outright, for market value minus what I'm owed. You'll save on foreclosure costs, lawyers, and time. I can pay cash." The bank, tired of the legal headache, agreed. Just like that, Margaret bought Ben's house for 25% below market value. Ironically, that discount was almost exactly the $100,000 she'd been owed all those years ago. Fate, it seemed, was keeping score. When the day came for Ben to move out, Margaret decided to stop by. She pulled up in her car, stepped out in her crisp cream coat, pearls shining in the afternoon sun. Ben was out front, boxes stacked high, sweat on his forehead. He looked at her, confused. "Can I help you?" Margaret just smiled. "Oh, I'm just here to check on the property. I'm the new owner." His face froze. You could see the gears turning. Then recognition hit him, and his eyes went wide. "Wait, you? Are you kidding me?" He started cussing, waving his arms, ranting about how unfair life was. But Margaret? She didn't say a single word. She just smiled. The same calm, polite smile she'd always had turned and walked back to her car. Behind her, Ben's voice cracked in fury. But his words didn't matter anymore. Because karma had spoken, and it spoke fluently. Today, that same house is home to a lovely family. Kids playing in the yard, laughter in the air, the kind of peace Ben never understood. And Margaret? She visits occasionally. Not out of pettiness, but to remind herself that patience and dignity can be the sharpest weapons of all. Revenge doesn't always need shouting or chaos. Sometimes, the universe just hands you the perfect opportunity if you have the grace to wait for it. Margaret didn't destroy Ben. He did that himself. She just made sure karma had the right address. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen play out? And don't forget to subscribe for more real stories of justice served cold.